In today's episode, I want to touch on a variety of topics, including how to not feel guilty when you haven't reached your weekly targets, how to stay on track while traveling, especially long haul flights, the importance of pre and probiotics, what are they and the benefits, beating gym anxiety, getting out of a rut, and much more. Welcome back to the Transform with MG podcast, where we'll talk all things transforming your health, body, and mindset. Let's kick off with the first question. How to deal with guilt of not reaching weekly goals? You gotta view it this way. If you can only be consistent with a plan when it's convenient for you to do so, then this is not a sustainable way to view it. You gotta view it this way. If you can only stick to a plan when it's convenient for you to do so, when you don't have much stress, much life or work commitments, and everything is flowing smoothly, then this is not gonna be sustainable. Although you might have high standards for yourself and set the best intentions for the start of the week and intentions that you're just gonna follow through exactly what you have set out for yourself, life's gonna happen. Things are gonna come up, whether that's like new deadlines at work, whether that's family issues, spontaneous events, somebody's birthdays, and you gotta be flexible and adaptable. The guilt that comes from not reaching weekly goals comes down to this perfectionism mindset. We're either 100% on plan or we feel like a failure. But it's not about getting everything down to a T, but rather the consistency that you apply. When you start to view your goals or this journey as a long-term commitment, you will recognize that a day or even a week that is less than ideal is not going to take you a million steps back, as long as you don't allow one minor setback to get you to give up on yourself and your goals. You got to pick yourself back up and think of improving just even by 1% every single day. Another way I like to view this is to have goals and non-negotiable targets. So your goals are the ultimate targets that you have either for the day or for the week, that if everything went to plan, you would ideally stick to them. So by that, I mean, for example, your ultimate target is to get to the gym 4 times per week, hit 10,000 steps a day, drink 3 liters of water, eat protein at 3 meals, and stick to your calorie averages, okay? That might be your ultimate targets, they might be your weekly goals. But then also what I like to do with myself, with my clients, and something that stops you from feeling like you failed by the end of the week is having non-negotiables. And these are habits that no matter what happens in the week, what comes up, what obstacles you face, you're still going to aim to hit them, and you know that staying consistent with them is going to get you closer to the goal. And non-negotiables are not supposed to overwhelm you. They're supposed to be almost too easy. So for example, let's take the ultimate goals that I've just mentioned, like going to the gym 4 times per week. So that might be your weekly goal that you have set yourself. But your non-negotiable might be to get to the gym 2 times per week, or to simply get 2 workouts in the week, whether that's going to be in the gym or you might have to modify and do them at home. Your ultimate goal might be to get 10,000 steps, but your non-negotiable is to get outside for at least 30 minutes of intentional, like walking, jogging, or whatever it is. You might have a goal of reaching 3 liters of water, but your non-negotiable is going to be that you're going to have a glass of water with every meal, or with 3 meals. And non-negotiables are a byproduct of your ultimate goals, but they just seem a lot less overwhelming and something that you can almost tick off on autopilot. Now, this is just an example. The non-negotiables I just mentioned there might be something that's still too ambitious for you to achieve given your life and work commitments. You gotta set non-negotiables specific to you, and ones that you know are almost guaranteed that you're gonna hit. And I guarantee you that you're just gonna feel a lot more fulfilled and less like you have failed if you have not reached all your targets. But I just wanna reiterate that we're not striving for perfection. And a lot of the time, striving for that perfection is what is actually stopping us from taking action, because we think we need to have everything on point or else there's literally no point in trying at all. And this is never the case. 1% better every single day. Do things that get you closer to the goal. Something is always better than nothing. You can't get to the gym, do a home workout. Can't do a home workout, go for a walk. You have no control of cooking your own meals. Pick something that you know is high protein and is gonna make you feel good inside. There's always options. If there's a will, there's a way. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to stay in this growth mindset of wanting to improve and showing up at your best, whatever that best is at a given day. There's always going to be things that are going to come up in your life, and you can't expect every single week to go as planned. Yes, set high intentions and set high standard for yourself and have that self-efficacy that you know you're gonna smash the week to your best ability, but also recognize that you cannot be in control all the time, and that's absolutely fine. Next question is, any tips for staying on track while going on an 8-hour flight? Right, so there's some obstacles that are gonna come in your way when you're trying to be on track while traveling, especially when it's long haul. Tiredness, dehydration, and not being prepared. So in terms of tiredness, this might be partially uncontrollable, because if your flight is in the middle of the night and you simply lack sleep because realistically you're only able to get a couple of hours, which is not enough for you to feel at your best, your hunger and satiety hormones might be dysregulated, and that might lead to increased hunger, increased cravings. I think it's important to recognize when you do have lack of sleep and those hormones are disrupted, because at least you can welcome the feelings of like increased hunger and cravings, but not necessarily act on them. When you recognize why they are happening, you can almost just tell yourself like, I'm simply tired. I simply lack sleep. It's not necessary that I actually lack food. When it comes to hydration, this is going to be like a key factor to stay on track and control your hunger, keep that hunger at bay. Also, what I would say is when you're on the way to the airport, just have a bottle of water, finish it before you go through security. When you pass security, stock up on drinks, water mainly, and especially be prepared to bring a big bottle of water with you on the flight. I know for the long haul flights, they usually do provide fluids so you can stay hydrated, but our dehydration levels increase when we're up on the plane, and they increase with altitude. So it's important to stay hydrated. It's also going to help your skin as well. So that's the second part. And then preparation. So have a meal at the airport before you go on the flight, and have something substantial that's going to keep you full and satisfied for a couple of hours. What I like to do usually is pick up a meal deal in like Boots, or I'm trying to think what other shops are duty free. Like I'm thinking of Dublin here, but a meal deal. Most places have it. A sandwich, a snack, and a drink. I usually pick up a chicken salad sandwich. They have roughly between 25 grams of protein, a protein bar, which will give me another 20 grams of protein, and a drink, either a Fit Hit or maybe sugar-free Coke, like Coke Zero. And that's a substantial meal that I know digests well with me, makes me feel good as well. Of course, I can go to Burger King and have a burger and fries at 9 a.m. And you know what? If this is what you want, then that's absolutely fine. But here we're talking about being on track, and this is a completely different topic and route for me to go down on. If you already decide before your holiday that you're not going to pay attention to any food and you don't really care about calories, then that's fine. This is the decision you make. Don't feel guilty about it. But I'm viewing it from the perspective of still wanting to stay within calories, perhaps. Maybe you have a goal of fat loss and you still want to continue seeing progress. How would I approach traveling, especially if you're traveling for a whole day? So having a meal before going on the plane, stocking up on snacks that just make you feel good, something healthy, something high protein. I would say fruit, rice cakes, protein bars, some popcorn, again, more drinks if you'd like. But ideally, I would avoid having snacks, and this is why I say having a substantial meal that will do you a few hours would be good. You're more than likely not hungry, and if you are, you just haven't eaten enough before that flight. You're either tired or bored because you're sitting on an 8-hour flight. If you're traveling long haul, like 8 hours plus, they usually provide a meal for you. So I would recommend just have that meal, enjoy it, and again, just don't eat until you get off. You get to a restaurant, a cafe, or to your house, and you're able to have like a good balanced meal. But do bring snacks with you, because you might have the intentions of not having everything, but then it turns out you are actually hungry, or you're just simply craving something, and it's better to have something that's more aligned with the goal that you have than simply just getting whatever is available to you for the sake of getting it, and you don't actually even want to eat it. So moving on, the next question is the benefits of pre and probiotics. So the function of probiotics in our body is to help with digestion. It supports overall good health. And as you know from my previous podcast, good health is extremely important. There is that gut to brain axis, which aids in overall happiness and well-being. The probiotics also help to maintain a healthy immune system, which prevents us from getting sick as easily, or if we do sick, they help to fight off those like viruses or bad bacteria in our body. Prebiotics are actually found in a lot of foods that most people already consume, mainly fruit, vegetables, and legumes. So things like oats, beans, bananas and berries, asparagus, onion, leek. If you're consuming a well-balanced diet and a variety of fruit, vegetables, legumes and beans, then you're probably safe. I wouldn't waste your money on looking for supplements. On the other hand, probiotics are not as easily accessible and not as common in most people's diets as prebiotics. So the main sources of probiotics are usually fermented foods. So think sauerkraut, kimchi, pickled beetroot, and kefir. I found that when I was having digestive issues, mainly just bloating and not really breaking down food in a way that was supporting how I wanted to feel, I started to introduce kefir, and you can actually get it in a lot of very common supermarkets. I used to buy mine in Tesco. I know Super Value stock them, so does Lidl and Aldi. You can get plain or flavored ones, and I added them to my oats, my overnight oats, instead of using yogurt. So it has plenty of live bacteria, those good bacteria that support all the things that I mentioned, like digestion, gut health, immune system. And they're quite high in protein as well. So even if you wanted to have a kefir on its own with a couple of fruit, it'd be a good probiotic to add. You might consider getting a supplement if it comes to probiotics. If you don't think you can access those foods that I mentioned, or it's not something that you are willing to include in your diet, then I would say that probiotics are one of those supplements that I think are beneficial to our overall health. Right, let's move on. Would you recommend a pre-workout? My only problem with it is I don't get to the gym until evening time, and I'm afraid if I use it, I won't be able to sleep that night. However, it's nice to have something to give me that extra push in the gym. Would I recommend a pre-workout? Well, caffeine has shown benefits to improve performance, focus, energy levels, alertness, but it's not necessary. And I personally don't use pre-workouts as such, as I don't use pre-workout powders. I get my caffeine fix from coffee mainly. You can also get energy drinks. With that question saying, this lady is afraid that it will impact her sleep, and yes, it totally will if you're consuming it close to bedtime. Of course, different people metabolize caffeine in different ways, and some people metabolize it quicker than others. But the general rule of thumb that I would say to anyone is just cut your caffeine intake out by 2 p.m. Sleep is one of the most foundational factors when it comes to seeing results, and it will play a major role on your adherence to diet, adherence to nutrition, energy levels, focus. And when we sleep, we really restore a lot of things in our body, and you can probably recall yourself that you just don't feel the best when you get a shit night's sleep. So doing something that you know can possibly impair that sleep is not a wise thing to do. So I would stay away from it. It can be more challenging when you're training in the evening and your last caffeine intake is by 1 or 2 p.m. But this is where I would look at other factors. Why are you feeling so low on energy come 5, 6 p.m. when you need to go to the gym that you need a pre-workout? This is another thing with pre-workouts. I think they can supplement your training, and there has been benefits shown that it increases or training performance. But if you're relying on it to have a good workout, then it's probably an indicator that something is off. You're either not nourishing your body correctly in order to utilize the calories from food, you're not sleeping well, as in your quality of sleep isn't great, or things that you're doing throughout the day. So if you're waking up and first thing that you have is a coffee, you're not getting any sunlight exposure, you find yourself skipping breakfast and then having a huge lunch, hitting an afternoon slump probably, there's no wonder that you feel that you need a caffeine fix come the evening time, 5 or 6 p.m. So instead of looking for a pre-workout to have before your, say, 6 p.m. training session or even later, look at what you're doing at the start of the day. I would delay your caffeine intake by at least 60 minutes so you can allow your body to naturally wake up. Get outside and get some sunlight. Even if it's a cloudy day, it has shown to improve our circadian rhythm, which means that it helps with like melatonin production later on in the day. And melatonin is that substance that allows us to feel like unwind and feel more sleepy, thereby getting to sleep easier. And make sure that you're having a pre-workout meal so you're utilizing energy from the food. Of course, it would be nice to have an additional kick and a push in a training session, but I personally don't think it's worth sacrificing your sleep for that extra push, and you can do other things to increase your energy throughout the day that will flow through the evening, and you can have a good session. And oftentimes, if you're somebody that works a sedentary job and you're sat at a desk for the evening, because you haven't moved much, your energy levels will dip. Movement actually creates energy. So the fact that you might be sitting at your desk and then going to work straight away, you might have that resistant feeling of not wanting to, or the thought that the session isn't going to be as great because you've been sat staring at a screen or sat down with little movement for a prolonged period of time. But even if you just get up, maybe you will need to like force yourself a little or give yourself a little extra push to go. But once you start moving your body, hop on a treadmill to like increase the body temperature, increase your heart rate, do dynamic movements, and then get into your session. And 99% of the time, once you go through your warm-up, you're feeling a lot more ready to dive into that workout and have a good session than you perhaps did driving to the gym. Next question is best things about gaining weight. Unfortunately, we live in a society where bigger, whether that's gaining muscle or weight, is viewed as a negative thing, especially for women. This stems from cultural, societal, and historical reasons. So throughout history, the society held various beauty standards, and for years it has been imposed that slim and delicate physiques are more feminine. And this is is what a lot of women aspired to be. And that idealized body image has been like flashed out on social media, and in fashion industries. Also, gender stereotypes has played a role in all of this, whereas women shouldn't be lifting weights, they shouldn't have muscle, they should remain skinny with a tight gap. There is this strong belief that's still ingrained in us. That's how bodies should all look the same. And then there is this one type that we should fit into, and we should be confined to this one beauty standard. As a society, we are challenging those beliefs, changing those views, and becoming better. Nevertheless, there is still a huge stigma with gaining weight. While gaining too much weight can be a negative thing, given the rates of obesity, many women are stuck in this constant cycle of wanting to be small and skinny and engaging in extreme dietings and disordered behaviors, extreme exercise regimes in order to maintain their physique, and in turn compromising their health. We need to remember that the size and shape of an individual does not equate to how healthy they are. If you currently have very low body fat percentage, then the benefits you will experience from gaining weight are increased energy, improved mood, enjoyment of food, better performance in the gym, improved focus, and mental clarity. We are not supposed to stay lean all year around. It takes away from so many life experiences because you're constantly obsessing about food and how your body looks. You're missing out on meals, on occasions, trying out new things, and always worrying about the actions you're taking and the consequences that it's going to have on your body and physique. So you really need to ask yourself, why is it that you're constantly trying to be the smallest version of yourself? It really comes down to doing some internal work and breaking down those beliefs, whether that is cultural, historical, or the pressure from society, because believe me, it's so liberating to let go of an idea that you have to confine to this small box and you have to live up to the society's view of how a woman's body should look. We're all individual. How you look is not a reflection of your health. If you're constantly fatigued, thinking about food, you have mood swings, headaches, you can't go out for a meal without giving you an anxiety attack, then there is so much that you're gonna gain from letting go of that and actually just gaining weight and getting to a healthy body composition. Why does pre-workout give me creepy crawly jitters? So most pre-workout powders actually contain a substance called beta-alanine, and it's that substance that creates those like tingly feelings and things like walking up and down your arms, your face. It can feel really strange when you've never taken pre-workout before and you might be thinking, what the hell is going on in my body? It is a normal reaction that occurs after taking a pre-workout with beta-alanine. Some people actually love it because it gives them that placebo effect, almost, that it must be good, it must be working, and they get more kick out of it. If you want something without beta-alanine, you can opt for a nootropic. I'm pretty sure My Protein does it. Not sponsored by any means. I actually haven't tried it, but I've seen it being advertised, and a nootropic will give you that extra push like a pre-workout will, but it doesn't contain beta-alanine, so you shouldn't be experiencing those tingly feelings then. Moving on to the next question, how to deal with the gym anxiety. So it is not uncommon to experience feelings of anxiety, of overwhelm when you've never been to a gym and you're only starting out, if you're going to a new gym, or if you're just not simply feeling good and confident in yourself, maybe that particular day, that week, or just in general. And I can't guarantee you that you'll ever get rid of that gym anxiety, because I've been training for almost 8 years now, and when I have to go to a new gym that I've never been to before, I don't know what equipment there is, what's the layout, people, I still get quite overwhelmed and anxious. But there is ways that you can minimize that, and you never want to get to the point where the feelings of anxiety are actually preventing you from taking action. So you got to view it this way. everyone that is in that gym at the moment has felt exactly the same as you're feeling right now. Everyone has been a beginner at some point, and they had a starting point where they didn't have a clue at what to do. They probably felt silly. They made a lot of mistakes. I'm speaking on the behalf of people that started because I know I felt like this when I first started. I didn't have a clue, felt super anxious, and had a fear of judgment that everyone is just going to be looking at me and criticizing my form. But that's simply just not the case, because everyone in there recognizes that that was them when they started out first. Nobody just walked into the gym knowing exactly what to do. And either they just had some help with them from the start, or they did a bit of trial and error to see what works best for them. Also, you need to stop putting spotlight at yourself. And I'm saying that in the nicest way possible, but every single person in that gym, or majority of people, are way too concerned about themselves. And you know what? That's a good thing. They have goals that they want to reach, and they're super focused on attaining those goals. If you think about yourself, do you go into the gym and just sit there and stare at one person through the whole hour and judge every single step that they're doing? Probably not. And the same goes in the opposite way too. Wear things that you feel confident and comfortable in. When you look good, you feel good. Buy yourself some nice workout clothes, something that actually just fits nicely to your body, hugs your body. I don't know, get ready for the gym. There's nothing wrong with that. I know when people say it's not a fashion show. Well, you know what? You do you. If you want to show up at your best, do whatever it takes so you're walking through that door and actually just feeling good in your body. And lastly, start small. You don't have to go in and jump on a lot of equipment that you've never seen before and looks like a transformer. Pick up a set of dumbbells, maybe even a bench. Find a quiet spot in a gym and just start really small. It doesn't have to be anything big. You don't have to be great at it, and you won't. If it's something new that you're doing, then you're probably gonna feel that you're looking a little silly. But that's fine. Even if you have a bigger goal, just break it down. Take your time and celebrate your little wins. The more that you're gonna go into that gym, the more confident you're gonna feel, and the less feelings of anxiety you're gonna experience. Next question is how to refocus when you hit a wall. You're gonna get to a certain point in your fitness journey that you're just not really gonna be motivated, and you're not really gonna be as driven to attain a goal that you have set yourself. And this is coming from somebody that's been doing it for a long time. The way that you're gonna refocus is remind yourself of your bigger goal. It's all well and good having short-term goals. For example, you want to look your best for your friend's wedding or your own wedding. You have your birthday celebrations coming up. You have a vacation coming up. But short-term goals always have to be accompanied by a long-term bigger goal and a strong why. When you have a strong why to why you want to undergo this fitness journey and why you're working towards that goal, this is what gonna always ground you and bring you back and give you that like sense of drive and motivation again, because things are gonna get hard. They're gonna get hard, and you need something to go back to when you're just simply feeling like you're giving up on the whole thing, when you feel like you're not making any progress, when other things just appear in your life that are taking your focus away from focusing on yourself, prioritizing self-care, exercise, eating well. I'm just going to give some background story to this because it came from a client who I've been working with for 12 weeks, and her short-term goal, she had a girls' holiday where the girls were just getting together that haven't seen each other for years, and she really just wanted to feel good and confident in summer clothes in a bikini. She got to a very good point, very successful fat loss, and really transformed her habits, the way she like lives her life, and also huge improvements on like overall well-being and mental health. Went on that holiday and came back and just totally like lost focus of what it was important. It's almost as if she hit a milestone and then her interest and drive and focus just sort of went out the window. So we had a call and really dove deep into why has she undergone change in the first place. It wasn't just that holiday. There's so many other holidays and occasion and things that were coming up like along those 12 weeks that she attended and was able to enjoy, and there would be far many more. So what was really the reason why she started? And it comes down to something much more deeper than just simply losing a couple of pounds. And you need to identify what that why is for you, because that will give you the motivation again. It will help you refocus. When you start viewing your journey as a long-term commitment and as this bigger picture and something that you see yourself doing for the rest of your life, you're not going to get bored with exercise and eating healthy. When you recognize this is going to be part of your life forever. Yes, you're going to have weeks where you're going to be stuck in a route and you won't feel like doing anything. I actually recently went through that where I simply didn't want to be in the gym. I just didn't really care about any of my goals. I knew in hindsight how the gym makes me feel mentally and physically, but I was just going and not enjoying any moment of it. But I've built enough resilience and discipline and knowledge on the fact that I'm gonna be going through this period, and it's absolutely fine to feel like this. You just have to show up, and sometimes you just show up to tick the boxes and keep that like routine and consistency flowing, and that spark is gonna come back. But again, diving down deep into what is the reason why you're actually making that change. For example, maybe you struggled with body image all your life. Maybe you have been criticized in the past on how you look. And maybe you've always stood in the mirror and picked yourself apart. And you want to get to the point where that is no longer the actions that you're taking, that you can walk past a mirror and not body check, that you can go clothes shopping and not get anxiety on how clothes are going to fit you. You can enjoy getting into group photos, taking videos, and not feel stressed on how they're going to turn out. And there's always a bigger reason that comes down to the feelings that we want and how it's actually gonna enhance our life on a bigger picture than simply getting down to a dress size or seeing a number on the scale or seeing like pounds drop, whatever. It's always a bigger picture. And when you can actually view it that way, this is what will get you like motivated. So you have a big goal, break it down, have those milestones. I'm not saying they're a bad thing. Like having a holiday in a couple of weeks that you're working towards actually can give you that extra drive and motivation, but know that when that holiday comes around and you're really enjoying yourself, that you're still gonna be working towards the bigger picture. So it's good to have a big goal, break it down, have milestones, have short-term maybe occasions or things that you're working towards to keep you on your feet. But ultimately, if you don't identify the real big reason on why you're undergoing this like transformative change, then it's going to be very easy to like slip off plan. That is all from me today. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode. And if you did find any value from it, it would honestly mean the world to me if you decided to share this with a friend, with a family member, maybe across your social media. And if you're looking for more personalized approach on how to achieve your goals, how to transform your health, body, and mindset, then I'm gonna leave the coaching inquiry form in the show notes below. All you have to do is click the link, fill out your information, and I will get right back to you. So I shall see you in the next episode.